It's that first like initial, and normally I have a really ugly face with it. So thank you guys and welcome to week 1 of Director Bound. If you are here, you should be really excited. Who else is excited? Yay! Because we're excited for you guys. You guys have made a commitment to yourselves and to your businesses that not a lot of people dare adventure into. Would you guys agree, leaders? That it takes a certain someone to really give in to the thought and possibilities of what you guys are getting ready to go through. How many of you guys are scared?
That's scary.
How many of you guys are scared right now? Who's scared? Raise your hand if you're scared. Okay. If you are one that has your hand down, I'm really worried about you. Okay. I'm worried because you should be scared. But we're going to tell you guys to just do it scared. Okay. Because the best things that happen are on the other end and the other side of being out of your comfort zone, right? Everything that happens that's beautiful in life is always outside of your comfort zone. So again, if you're going to have any background noise, just make sure that you mute. I'm going to try to keep this very interactive. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions just to keep you guys engaged and talking. But first, a little bit about myself. So my name's Becky, obviously. Thank God there's only one of me or you guys would all be in trouble. I live here in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, where there's more cows than people. I am the mom of 4 kids. Their ages 21, 19, 11, and 9. And I've been married now for, 56 years. No, I'm just joking. 23 years. We were high school sweethearts, and he says now it's cheaper to keep her, which he's actually right about that. So a little bit about my business side of things. I have been an advanced director only for a matter of like 4 months. I just promoted to an advanced director in September. I have been with Pampered Chef for 8 years. I have earned excellence in sales for 7 out of the 8 years. I have been an elite seller for 7 out of the 8 years. And I've gone on 5 all expense paid trips all over the US, which has just been probably my favorite part. Would you guys agree that I've traveled? It's like the best of the best when you get to travel on someone else's dime. How many of you guys have ever been asked what your why is? Anybody ever been asked that? Probably like when you first became a consultant, that was something you were asked, why are you doing this? And so digging into your why is really important for your business. And I'm going to explain why. That was no pun intended. Little humor. So I'm going to share with you guys what I typically tell my customers at my shows. So, I kind of go through the introduction just like I did a second ago, and then I tell them why I became a Pampered Chef consultant and why I stay. Because the reason why, if you guys are a newer consultant now, the reason why you're here may be totally different than 6 months from now why you're staying, okay? So I started Pampered Chef to actually pay down some credit card debt, but I stay because it's provided a full-time income and a way for me to be a stay-at-home mom for the last 7 of 8 years. We literally went into poverty about 4 months after I became a Pampered Chef consultant. I had a full-time job making 6-figure income, and I walked into work one day after 10 years of being with my company, and I got terminated from my job. So imagine myself with 4 children, all of the bills that come with a 6-figure salary. You guys know what I'm talking about. We normally spend more than we make anyway, and no way to pay them at that point. And so I had started Pampered Chef as just that part-time little, side thing. And at that moment, it was really when I became tested. So that happened in February 2012. April of 2012, my father-in-law was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and he was only given a year, actually 90 days to 6 months to live. And we weren't sure if he was even going to make it that far. 2 months later, he ended up having a double amputation surgery done. And I knew exactly right then why I lost my job when I did. I'm a faith-strong person, and I knew exactly that God had a plan for my life. And it was just coming to reality at that moment. Because I knew with my career, I worked 70 hours a week for someone else's dreams, that there would be no way in the world I could work for my own. Okay. So for me, that's one of those things, that's a very personal story to share with our customers. But does anyone know why I go that far with my customers?
To create a connection.
Right. It's to connect with them on a different level, right?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not your why? Yeah, you've probably heard that. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Actually, it helps to pull it up first. That is a really good idea. I thought I had it in the background, but I guess that was one of those I cleared out. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Yep. Perfect. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about 3 different things. So in any business, there's what we call the 4 pillars of belief, or 4 pillars of our business. And tonight we're going to cover 3, which is going to be passion, skill, and will. Okay. The 4th will be covered next week on next week's call by Tiffany, which is going to be belief. That one is that one's special enough that it deserves its own week. Okay. So what do you guys think would happen if you had 4 pillars and one of them collapsed? What do you guys think would happen? Look, Kat's got all y'all's tongues now. Ooh.
The roof would fall.
Right, the roof would fall, right? Yeah, and why would the roof fall?
Domino
Nothing
effect.
holding it up.
Domino effect, right? It just keeps going. Okay, so if one collapses, then they all collapse, right? So, you know, it's important that if you're a builder of a house and your one wall falls down, that you really kind of figure out what the heck went wrong with that. So let's compare that a little bit to our business and what happens when one area of our business is struggling. Because how many of you guys have been in this business for longer than a year? Okay, so some of you guys, okay. Would you guys say that there's an area of your business where you struggle a little bit more than other areas?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
and do you ever notice that when one area is struggling, it tends to run itself into another area?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, exactly. The other areas start to suffer. So it's very important to find a balance in your business so that, you know, the other areas don't start to suffer. This starts with your passion. Everything we do starts with passion first. And you have to be willing to dig sometimes to find out the answers, and sometimes, you know, what it boils down to. Or in other words, our why. Why is my little, oops. My gosh, I'm a hot mess tonight, guys. I apologize. Let me get this little thing out of my way. See, anybody can do this job, you guys. Anybody. Okay. So do you know what your personal why is? Does anybody know what their personal why is? Everybody should know this, right?
Yes, everyone should know it.
Everybody hopefully knows it. So once you have kind of figured out your why, you need to be able to tell someone else with so much passion that they want to cry with you, okay? So kind of when I shared mine, you know, that's something very personal. And a lot of times what happens at my shows is I normally see 1 or 2 people with that teary eye out in my audience of people. And that's normally the people that I really have a deeper connection with. And then those are the ones that really connect me. They just connect with me on a totally different way than most other people do. So passion is what you need to bring yourself back to when you doubt yourself. Okay. So it's always going to come back to that passion and that why. So who wants to share what their why is? I need like 1 or 2 people to share really quickly with me what their why is. Go for it, Candace. I seen you raise your hand.
My why is I don't want to work for somebody else's belief anymore, and I want to be home so I can be with my daughter. She's 8, going to be 9 on Saturday, and I've already missed so much. My son graduates high school this year. I've already missed so much of that. And I want the flexibility to be able to do things and take her to sports and, you know, getting home at 6, 7 o'clock at night. I can't do that.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this. If you were able to provide for your family with your Pampered Chef business, walk away from everything else in life and really just focus on everything you just said, how would that make you feel inside?
Amazing.
Amazing,
Yeah.
right? But the day you're able to hand in your resignation elsewhere and push all those other things aside and make your family a priority, do you think you'll cry that day?
Yeah. I was
Yeah?
crying during your why. Yeah.
So who else wants to share their why real quick? Rachel, go for it. You have a cute little guy right there. That's why enough.
We can't hear you, Rachel.
You're muted, or your volume's down. One of the other.
I'm on.
There, now we can hear you.
There we go.
There she is.
So my why is I have 3 children, and I work as a teacher, and we don't make very much money. And it's really hard. I work paycheck to paycheck. My husband's at work right now because, you know, he works nights while I work days. I get home and he's not even here. Have to bring the sitter, you know, home to her house and then do all the nightly routine that I have to do, baby, by myself because, you know, he has to work during the day or during night while he's watching the kids while I'm at work during the day.
And what's
So
that
being
feel like?
able to, you know, it sucks.
It sucks.
I really like my job and I like to work with kids and it, you know, it gives me something inside to work with, you know, children but I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm burnt.
So let me
I
ask
just want
you
to hang out with my kids and I can't afford to send my kid to daycare because it's through the roof.
so expensive. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. So let
And
me
I
ask
get a
you this.
discount and I still can't afford it.
Kind of like I asked Candace, that moment you could hand your resignation in as a teacher, what's that moment going to feel like to you?
Like more than $1 million.
More than
Like,
$1 million?
peace out.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. You think
I'd
you'll
be
cry
happier
with
than
them?
anything.
Do you think you'll cry?
Tears of joy.
Tears of joy. I love it.
Yep.
So those feelings, Rachel and Candace, that you guys just felt, those are really real to you guys, right? Those are only emotions that you guys can feel. And so every single time you guys think about giving up in this business, I want you to remember exactly what you just told me. And that feeling that you just felt, imagining and picturing yourself handing in that resignation or being able to stay home with your kids and going to those activities. And that little tear that wants to trickle down your face, I want you to think about that little tear, okay? Because that right there is passion, right? That right there is your why. And that is exactly what needs to drive you every single day to get up and do anything and everything that it takes to make it in this business. Because I'll tell you what, when I was faced with the fact that I didn't know whether we were going to lose our house or if I was going to be able to feed my 4 children, that drove me like nothing else in my life ever has. Knowing that my kids could go without drove me. And every single day I think about the fact that I don't want to go back there. And that's what pushes me every day to do better. Okay. So I just want you guys to hold on to that feeling. And anybody else, you guys know what your whys are. You just have to get to that point right where those girls were and ask yourself those questions. Once you know your why, dig a little deeper, okay, and figure out what it's going to feel like when you accomplish that. And that's what we want you guys to hold on to. Okay? Hi.
Oh, can you hear me now on this?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, well, I had the headphone in the whole time and you couldn't hear me before, but now I guess I plugged it back in and can't. So
Who knows, right?
I'm going to mute myself.
Oh, goodness. All right, so here's a really, really good quote that I loved and when I was writing up this training. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how, okay? So once you figured out the why, the how, if you're passionate enough about it, it's going to come naturally to you. Okay, so how exactly does your why connect to your skill and will, okay? Well, when your passion and your purpose are greater than your fears and excuses, you will find a way to do it. I promise you, okay? So Rachel, if you are that passionate and that mindset on being able to walk into work, give your resignation, and stay home with your children, are excuses naturally going to slip in there once in a while?
Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah, it's easy, right? It's a discipline, guys. It's such a discipline for you guys to let go of those excuses. I mean, my gosh, I'm queen of them some days.
They can keep it up.
It's hard. It is a discipline. It's something that every day we will struggle with because we're human beings, and it's just easier to not do something than it is to do something some days. Okay.
My whole first year, I kind of just blew it off. Like I did it, but I didn't do it.
Right. Well, guess what? It's a brand new year.
Yes,
Brand new year. Okay, so we've talked about the first pillar, which was passion. So we're going to explore skill a little bit, okay? So I want you guys to name a skill and a way you can master it. So I'm going to start. So I'm really good at making graphics. That's kind of my jam. That's what I'm known for because I practice it regularly, okay? So what is a skill that you have and a way that you've mastered it in your business? Let's see. I'm going to pick some different people. What'd you say, Rachel?
I said talking with people because I have to constantly talk all day long. I have children.
So talking with people is your skill and you practice it because you do it all day long. I like
I
it.
do it at work and I do it at home.
All right, Miss Tanya, let's ask you. So what is a skill in your business that you think you do well and how have you mastered that?
Oh, good grief. I think a skill that I have is talking about products and having the passion for them and being able to sell them.
Okay.
So I think, by using them, obviously you master how they work and you can talk about it when you're at your parties.
Absolutely. Okay. So she feels really good with her product knowledge and in part because she's mastered it by using them, right? And getting to know her products. Okay. So Stacy, oh, look, she's like, oh no, not me. Stacy, what is a skill in your business and how did you master it? Or how are you approaching mastering it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. I don't know because Tanya stole mine. Because I have been told that when I get going about a product or an item, I get very excited about it. And that they can see it in my face. But my, I guess, biggest thing that I'm trying to tackle is I'm fine once I get to that point, but it's that opener to start a conversation with somebody where I get in my own way. So I know that really wasn't the question you asked.
That's
asked,
okay.
What is one of my skills? And I'm telling you one of the skills that I need to
work on. Absolutely. And that's a great thing to be aware, right? Mm-hmm. of an area of strength and an area of opportunity. You always want to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are because we are evenly divided probably with those areas. So knowing that, okay, so Stacy, knowing that you have an area of opportunity, what is a way that you could help master that skill?
I first started doing vendor events to force myself to talk to people. I remember I had only been in the business, let me think, maybe 3 or 4 months. And like I said, I'm very shy at first. If I don't know you, if I've never seen you before, if you're a stranger in the grocery store, I'm not just gonna make small talk and have a conversation with you. So I booked my first vendor event and told myself that every single person that walked by my area, I was going to speak to them, even if it was only to say hi, because that in itself would be monumental.
Absolutely.
So even if I never even got to the whole spiel about why I was there and what I had, if I could just look at every single person and say hello, that would be a huge accomplishment at the end of the day. And so I did. I did my first event, and that was my whole thing was to just completely put myself out of my comfort zone that whole day.
Good for you, because you know what? Who likes to be outside of their comfort zone? Raise your hand. There's nobody's hands raised. So kudos to you for doing that. it really, like I said, you know, a skill that we know that we need to develop that does take us outside of the comfort zone tends to be the ones that we ignore a little bit and put to the side. You know, they're the ones that are a nuisance or a bother to us. And not because we don't want to do them, but because they're uncomfortable, right? But sometimes we have to do things that are uncomfortable, like I said, to get outside where all of the progress in our business happens. So good for you, though, to recognize, you know, an area that you needed to develop. So I want you guys to really think about that, right? I want you guys to think about what areas do you excel in your business and what areas do you tend to struggle with in your business, okay? Recognize what you do right, okay? And then recognize what you need to work on. Because recognizing what you do right is going to help you work on those other areas, okay? You have to kind of give yourself a little pat on the back because nobody else in this world tends to do that. And so we have to be our own best friends at times. All right, so let's see. Next slide. So those are some great examples, though. Nobody ever mastered any skill except through intensive, persistent, and intelligent practice. So we just have to keep practicing and honing those skills. So what tools do we have at our disposal with Pampered Chef to sharpen our skills? What tools do we have? What tools does Pampered Chef give us to help us sharpen our skills?
I got a Becky.
You got a Becky?
I got a Becky.
You.
I have a Tiffany.
You have a Tiffany? Yeah, she's pretty smaller.
But I was going to say that the trainings that we have on online are amazing.
Trainings online?
PC
Absolutely.
University.
Pampered Chef University. What else? Let's see who. Susan, we haven't heard from you yet. What tools do we have?
Which Susan are we talking? Is there more than one Susan?
The beautiful one that's speaking to me right now.
I didn't know if there was any other Susans in the crew. What tools? I have Christina Bailey, who is my upline and who put me in touch with a host director here in St. Louis. I moved a year ago to come back to take care of my mom. And so those two have been tremendous help for me, plus PC University and, as she said, the trainings that we have.
Absolutely. Most definitely. All right, let's see. Who haven't we talked to? Robin, tag you're it. Can't hear ya.
On.
Nope. I heard you for a second.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I too am with Christina, so she is fabulous.
Yeah.
And other team members.
Other team members. That's a
are
great
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very rare that Christina is not like readily available, except when, of course, she has her shows. When that happens, I don't panic. I just contact a team member.
Absolutely. Let me ask you guys, how many of you guys have a Pampered Chef buddy or an accountability partner? Does anyone have one?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't have an accountability partner, I want you to find one, okay? Because it's really good to have somebody else that with a like mind, okay? But when you're looking for an accountability partner, I don't want you to pick someone that's your best friend in the business, okay? I want you to find someone that calls you to the carpet, okay? Somebody that is going to call you out on your shenanigans, somebody that's going to say, hey, Brandy, you didn't do what you said you were going to do, girlfriend. That's the kind of accountability. That's, hold on, the word accountability, right? Someone that is going to challenge you. Don't make it your best friend. Your best friend is never going to hold you accountable for anything. I mean, other than maybe going and meeting for coffee. That's about it. So you definitely need to have somebody that is going to challenge you. And what is that going to do for you? To have somebody that's going to challenge you, it's going to actually help you excel, okay? So if you don't have an accountability partner and you don't know who to ask, guys, there's like 25 of you in this group. You guys would be great to pair up with each other You're like-minded in the fact that you're going through this program together, but you guys are all going to have different areas of strength and different areas of weakness to really bounce off of each other. So if you haven't noticed this week, I really like to get to know people for people. And so that's what I was really trying to get you guys to kind of communicate, was just to see each other and see each other's experiences, see where everybody lives, see what kind of businesses you have, to see that we're all the same, but then we're all different. Okay. All righty.
Hey, Becky,
Yes.
this is Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
I just wanted to throw another thing in there that I think is a great tool. And
Sure, go for it.
it's not specifically provided by Pampered Chef, but Coffee Talk.
Oh, so
I have gotten so much out of that. I
So
try
good.
to listen every week. If I can't, I go back to the replay.
Absolutely.
And I've actually done morning walks outside listening to the replays.
Coffee Talk is amazing.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot out of those.
I'm telling you what, okay, so why do you guys think that we partnered up to do this Director Bound? Okay, each one of us could have run this with our teams on our own, but we learned so much more as people when we learn from other people. We tend to, as leaders, say that our teams go nose blind. You guys know that term, like when someone lives in a house that has, let's say, like 1,000 cats in it and it smells like cat, that person tends to not smell it anymore after a while. So the same thing, Brandy, don't laugh at me. The same thing happens though with our teams and with our businesses, that when they hear from the same leader over and over and over and over and over times 1,000, you tend to tune that person out. But when you have different experiences and different training by different leaders, it tends to resonate a little bit more. So those training files and stuff on Consultants Corner, the Coffee Talk, anytime you get to learn from some other leader in the business, you're doing yourself nothing but a favor. I promise you. All right, so man, y'all are on a roll with that. So yes, those are all great examples. So always remember though that skills can be learned over time, but you have to have the will to push yourself to keep honing those skills every single day, no matter what. Dreams don't work unless you do, right? So maybe you start to develop a skill, but then you stop honing that skill. What happens to that skill?
Goes away.
It goes away, right? So I want you guys to think about a knife, one of our Pampered Chef knives, right? And we have that fabulous, I can't even talk tonight, fabulous honing tool that goes with our knives. And what is the purpose for that honing tool?
Keep it sharp.
Right, keeps it sharp, keeps it perfectly aligned. So every time you have a skill and you work on it, that's exactly what you're doing. Think of it as that knife that you're perfecting. You're putting that blade, right back to the perfect edge. You're keeping your blade straight and aligned. Nothing is different. It's just us actually practicing what we're preaching. So here's some things to consider on skill, okay? How much time can you devote daily to learning? Okay? What types of trainings are most effective for you? We all learn differently. Everybody has a different learning style. You guys know that? How many of you guys like to read books? How many of you guys would rather listen to an audio file? How many of you guys would rather, do it visually, like on a computer or a tablet or a device and just read from there? We all have a different way to learn. Me, I will tell you, I want to be a reader. I really want to, but my brain just doesn't function that way. Like I have adult ADHD, I think, that I can't keep a book in my hand and I can't read from it, like unless I'm trying to do 14 other things at the same time I'm reading the book.
I'll fall asleep.
But I know that if I'm cleaning the house and I can pop in my earbuds and listen to an audio file play, that I can train my brain that way. So really figure out what type of training style you have. And is your personal growth a priority to you? So those are 3 things I want you guys to think about. Don't want answers on, but if you want to write those down real quick, you guys can. But those are just things to consider with skill. When it comes to mastering skill, you have to spend time on it every single day in order to, take that skill and keep mastering it. Anybody else writing?
Yes.
Okie dokes. So any questions so far? Yay! Everybody's excited? Everybody's still awake? It's 9 o'clock on my coast.
Only 7 here.
Oh my goodness. Mommy. All right, so here's another quiz for you guys. You ready for it? What words
Hello?
that immediately come to your mind that start with will?
Willpower.
Willpower. Someone said willpower. What else?
Is willing cheating?
Who said something? Sorry?
Willing.
Willing. Absolutely. There's one. What else?
Willingness.
Willingness. Okay. So what do those words all have in common?
Will.
Yeah, they all have the word will in common, right? What else do they have in common?
Us.
Ah, ding, 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 you're a winner. You are a winner. Yes. So the one thing that they all have in common is you, okay? Along with your passion and your skills, I want you guys to ask yourself one thing when it comes to personal. The question is not who is going to let me, but who is going to stop me. That's one of my driving forces every day. When I think about, you know, the roadblocks, we all go through roadblocks in life, right? You kind of get to, you know, get some momentum going with something in your life, and then automatically the roadblock comes up and stops your progress, okay? So instead of being stationary and accepting that roadblock, find a way to crawl over the roadblock so that you keep moving forward. Don't let anyone stop you. If your belief and your why are strong enough, you're going to find a way to go over or around that roadblock when it comes to you. So along with developing your passion and your skills, your will is critical to your business. I would dare say that it's one of the most critical things in your business. And actually, I was reading a statistic earlier, and they said that around 72% of people with a small business fail because of their will, their personal will. Okay, they allow that business to fail. So your will determine if you get all of those tedious little tasks done with every single show the way you know that they should be. How many of you guys ever, you have a show and you know all of the steps that you should follow, right? We all should talk to our host 2 to 3 times before the party. We should send the invites. We should make the Facebook event and do this and do this and do this and do this. But then life happens. And so in your brain, the first thing you start to think is, what step can I eliminate? Because I don't have time for it. Okay. I think we all go through that. Christina, do you go through that as a top seller in the company? Okay. Megan, do you go through that? Tiffany, is Tiffany on the phone? I think she is. I'm not sure. She on the phone? So if you would ask any of the top leaders, we all go through that, okay? So it's not just a challenge as a new consultant. It's not a challenge with a 1 to 3 year consultant. It's a challenge with all consultants. You guys have all heard the term that we are our own worst enemy most of the time. And it's true, because we do. We control all of our actions. Nobody else does. Sorry, I love to see y'all's faces, and I only get this little strip on the side. So what are your favorite excuses that you guys like to use? I want you guys to tell me, let them out, okay? Because I'm ready for them. So give me your top excuse that you use when it comes to that tedious little task that you don't want to do.
We don't have time.
Don't have time. I love it.
Too tired.
Too tired. Love it.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Jackie and Mike, what about you?
Just don't want to.
Just don't want to?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Okay. Like someone said a minute ago, they'll do it tomorrow. I love that one. That's one of my favorites.
No.
Then my list for tomorrow is about 25 items, right? When it should be like 5. All right, What'd you say, Stacy?
I've waited too long to mail it, so now I've missed the opportunity.
Okay, perfect. So time crunch. Beth?
Mine is, but I have the kids.
You have the kids. Yes, those darn
And
kids.
there's a lot of them. Can't do that. Got too many kids.
Don't
Robin,
want to
did
be
you have
told
one?
no's.
What'd you say, Susan?
Don't want to be told no.
Don't want to be told no. Ooh, that's one. Ooh.
Yeah.
My personal mantra is I put the pro in procrastination. I'm a pro at it.
Oh, you guys want to hear my favorite excuse? I could really use a nap right now. I love naps. Naps and coffee are my thing. They're just my thing. Anybody else? All right, Branda. Branda, we haven't heard from you yet. What's your favorite excuse?
Not comfortable enough.
Not comfortable enough? Okay. Beth, you got one?
No, other than the ones that were already said. Mine is either kids or I run out of time.
Okay. Perfect.
How about I don't really know how?
Don't know how? Okay. So you guys know what you can do with your excuses, right?
Toss them.
Awesome. Yeah, let's see. So now that we've cleansed ourselves of that, it's time for our reality, right? Like we need our reality check. So you guys, you can have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both.
I like that.
It is one of my absolute favorite quotes I've ever heard. It's posted right here in front of myself on my desk. And it's one of those things that every time I think about going and taking a nap, I look at it and it stares me in my face. Sometimes I win, but most of the time it wins. Okay. So yeah, you can have excuses, you can have results, but you can't have both because one, they don't work with each other. They're not best friends. They are not BFFs at all. So when I lost all my excuses, I found my results. Okay. So now that we've had our little excuse pity party, now that we know, what we need to do, it's just time to do it. So here are the things to consider with your will. What is consuming your time that shouldn't be? Is it Facebook? How many of you guys are on Facebook? Well, obviously most of you are on Facebook, right?
Right now, yeah.
Okay. And how much time do we spend on Facebook? Okay, and if we really break it down to, okay, I'm on Facebook, we tell ourselves, here's our excuse, well, I'm on Facebook for my business. Right? That's a great excuse. I love that one. I use that one a lot too. If you're on Facebook and you're on there for your business, then you probably shouldn't be scrolling through your wall, reading everybody's business, right? Or playing those little games that you can play on Facebook. Yeah. If you're going to be there, make sure it's productive time spent on Facebook because otherwise all you're doing is making an excuse not to do something else that's productive for your business. Here's another question. Is it people? Are you letting people consume your time that shouldn't be consuming your time? So many times we get sucked in. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's like a vacuum cleaner on Facebook. Do you guys know that? There's a vacuum cleaner there. You just can't see it. But it literally sucks you in. It just pulls you in. It draws you in like a vacuum cleaner. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? That word that starts with D, drama. Save the drama for your mama. I'm just saying. Because drama will consume you, whether it be, how many of you guys are on the virtual groups, like Pampered Chef groups? Anybody on all those, like there's 5,000 groups on Facebook? Okay.
I just want to say something real quick.
Sure, go for it.
I was on there and I used to, it came up notification, and I'd read them, because I'm going to learn things. I did learn a lot of things, but you know what? Whew. Unless you're looking for something specific, go use the search feature and find it and get off.
Get out.
Love it. So that's right? You just solved your own problem by coming up with that and about 10 other people's. I'm just saying.
I just did that yesterday and went through a bunch and unfollowed quite a few.
Yes.
It's been nice.
If they are not something you visit all the time, I'm going to give you guys a little social media tip that not a lot of people know. You guys ready for it? It'll change your Facebook world. So a lot of people are in about 150 groups, and I'm not even kidding you. You know, if you are a Facebook virtual consultant, you create group. Most of us create groups for our business. We're in all these Pampered Chef groups. We're in all these like life groups, you know, whatever. I'm a keto eater or whatever. You know, there's like 5,000 groups that you can belong to on Facebook or more. Did you guys know that the more groups that you're actually in, the more it bogs down your algorithms and the less visible you become? Did you guys know that? See, that's a bonus tip for tonight. I'm just saying. So it does. It bogs down your algorithms and it makes you less visible to the people that are in your friends list. And so what I recommend you do is go in there, and I did it. It was like a breath of fresh air. It took me forever. But I actually left a ton of groups. I just left them all. And then the ones that I don't participate in, but I still wanted to be a part of, I just turned off all the notifications because, you know, those notifications really are that D word. That's what I'm talking about. It leads you right to the drama in a place that you don't want to be. It's just not a place that's healthy for us, and it's not a place that's healthy for our business. Okay. So do some evaluation there. It would be fun to know how many Facebook groups you guys belong to. So if anybody's brave enough to share that later on the group, post how many Facebook groups you get rid of. Because
what about the groups that we make
for your parties?
Yeah, should I be getting rid of those? Because I feel like there's a lot on there.
I do about after a year. Like I use them for follow-up for about a year, and then I get rid of them. Because if I have a host that's going to repeat host with me again, I'm going to create a new group for her because her friends list could have changed or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So it's up to you, though. I mean, definitely up to you. Okay, so here's another question on your will. When there is a gap on your calendar, how long are you going to let it stay there? Ooh, that's a good question, right? Because that one really does come down to the will. An even bigger one, when your calendar is empty, how are you going to react to it? Ooh, that one's pretty challenging. I would say how many of you guys opened your January calendar this year and you seen no shows? Did anyone see that? Yeah, and it's not a great feeling, right? You feel like you're starting back over from ground zero. So
I didn't have anything in December, so.
Oh my gosh. All right, so this is where we circle back to our belief, guys. Okay, so we've learned skill, we've learned our will, and we've seen what our passion does for all of it. But really, like I said before, it is always going to come back to us. Everything we do in this business eventually comes back and circles back to us. So belief, that's why I said earlier that belief really does deserve its own week, because belief is the magic key that unlocks your dreams. Okay. If you have any kind of self-doubt in there, you know, that little devil that sits on your shoulder that says, oh, you really don't need to do that. You know, Becky, you really should go take a nap. When you have to believe, your belief has to be strong enough to say, you know what, ain't nobody got time for a nap today. So next week, Tiffany is going to start exploring that with you guys. So homework time. Who wants homework? Here's my little devilish grin coming out. It's so great. Let me pull our homework up real quick. And I am going to post this onto the group, so you don't need to write it down because it's going to be posted on there for you guys later. But I just want to cover it with you real quick. Do you guys love homework? Homework is amazing. My son upstairs, homework is annoying. Love it.
I second that.
All right. So homework week 1 is going to be, there's going to be an audio that you're going to listen to. It's called Listen. You're going to listen to Fuel Your Fire. Okay. The location where you can find it is going to be listed for you. So it's on Consultant Connection under Full Site, under Training and Resources. You'll find it under Training Audios. And make sure to take good notes. Okay. I want you guys to write down your top 5 takeaways that you're going to use in your business and how you're going to use them. And share that on our Director Bound group. Okay, so your top 5 and share it on the group. And what I love from that is that you guys are going to learn from each other. So maybe you guys both have a note, but you're going to use it in a completely different way. Maybe, you know, it'll be just what someone else needs to hear or see. I'm going to be uploading a worksheet to the group later, and I want you guys to take a couple minutes to fill that out. It's on Skill and Will. And then once you have it filled out, that's going to be something that you're going to discuss the results with on your call with your director. You guys should have all printed out your contact tracker with 15 new contact, or your, printed out your contact tracker. So in the next 4 days, you're going to want to add 15 new contacts to that contact tracker, okay? Now remember, a contact is a two-way conversation, okay? It's not, I sent 15 messages, but then never heard back from them. That's not considered a contact. A contact is a conversation with somebody. So how many of you guys feel a lot more comfortable with having those conversations by sharing those screenshots with your directors? Did that help you, anybody, with doing that? I think it's very empowering to know that you have somebody that's going to be there to help you when you just don't know how to answer, when you don't feel comfortable enough to do it by yourself. So schedule your call with your director before our next call, which will be next Thursday, 8:30, same bat time, same bat place. There will be a different Zoom link posted, so make sure you guys watch out for that. And again, it'll be posted, with several reminders. Your homework will be due no later than Monday evening at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So is there any questions at all on the homework? No? No question?
The contact tracker, is that on Consultants Corner?
No, that is on our group. It was up on the announcement post. At the top,
I have the trackers.
Yeah, that's the tracker.
Okay, I think I'm just using one from a different one. So,
okay.
I still had one printed out.
Yeah, as long as you're tracking your contacts, that's really what's most important to us, so that we can see what kind of results you're getting. And what it's going to do is it's going to also give you a place to go back to. Okay, so, you've contacted, Renee today. So, 2 months from now, when you never heard back from Renee, you have another, reason to go back to talk to her.
I guess I wasn't using it that way. I was just putting my parties down on there.
Yeah, Rachel, the one that you sent me the picture of is the party tracker, not the contact tracker. This one is different.
So, okay.
Yeah,
yep.
There's two different trackers up there posted for you guys. So,
right.
Okay.
So before we do questions, I just want to tell you guys how extremely proud I know all of us are for the progress that you guys made in just the first week. Okay. So when I had counted this morning, we as 4 organizations had booked 37 parties, but you guys have continued all day long to add more and more bookings.
I got 2 today.
That blows my mind, and I'm so incredibly proud of you guys for continuing to do it, because that's really what's going to change your business. And the reason I say that is because it's called momentum, okay? It's exactly what any business needs. You have to gain momentum. So if you started January and you were at a big fat goose egg with a 0, and even if you only have 2 or 4 shows on your calendar right now, you can change that in a matter of a day. Okay, all it takes is persistence and your will, right? Let's all remember that word, your will, to do it, okay? It's up to you to decide what your will is going to push you to do. So I know I'm proud of you guys. I know Megan and Christina and Tiffany, we were all really excited for the results that we've seen. I mean, I love it. Like, to me, that's just exciting. It's just exciting to watch people get that excited about their businesses that, they really went all in. It's great.
It blew up the group with those posts. It was crazy. It was
I know.
really fun to see.
It was exciting. My phone, it sounded like a popcorn machine almost. It was like, pop at certain points. So, all right. So we have 10 minutes for questions. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions on anything we talked about tonight? Any questions for your leaders that are on here?
The harder, the better.
Exactly. Yep.
Stump us.
Yeah. I have this circle of bald spot over here. That's where all the stump questions go. I
don't have any questions.
No questions? Oh my gosh. Did everybody
Doesn't that just mean you did a good job?
I don't know. I question myself. See, there we go. Back to my belief, right? It goes back to belief. I hope, though, that you guys are going to take something away from this training, whether it be one nugget that you remember from it or 5 nuggets that you remember from it. Try to always find something in any training that you ever listen to or attend, something to take away that just kind of hits home for you. Because that's what's going to push you to be on the next call. And in order to be on the next call, you have to do what?
Homework.
Exactly. So no questions. You guys are sure? Going once. Stacy.
I don't have a question. I'm just going to throw something out there that my advanced director always tells us, since you haven't already mentioned this tonight, Becky, and that is, don't wait until the night before your homework is due to do it.
That's very good advice.
I tell my kid that all the time.
You will get more out of your business if you start your homework at least tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Some of you have the kids running around tonight.
Absorb it, absorb the information that you learned tonight, and tomorrow you put it into practice, right? Tomorrow you wake up, it's a brand new day, and we're in a brand new year, and you're at a brand new program, and you have all these brand new results that you've been getting. So just let that drive you, let that why be your determining force tomorrow. Wake up, remember what your reason is, why you're doing this business, what that little tear coming down your cheek is, remember that feeling, and then don't make excuses, make results, right? Any other questions?
Who feels a little less scared now that the first call is done? Hands, come on. Yay.
I'm not that scary, am I? Am I scary?
No, you're not scary.
My team is like, yes, she is.
We haven't seen that side of you yet, Becky.
They haven't either. That's a bad side they don't want to see. I don't show anybody that one except for my husband.
But I think he deserves it a little bit, maybe.
Once in a while. Gotta keep him in check after all these years.
Yeah, most do.
I was a little less scared of the whole program after the booking blitz because, like you talked about, the momentum.
Absolutely.
Like, all right, there it is. There it is.
It was like a snowball that just kept going down the hill, collecting and collecting and collecting.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happens, guys. It really is. I think that we get stuck. We start doing a booking blitz, right? And we send about 10 messages out. And then you're like, well, crap, nobody's responding to me. They're reading my messages, but they're not responding back to me. They don't like me. They don't want to book a party with me. And so we stop. We just stop, right? We just say, forget it. Nobody wants to host a show. It's January. They just had Christmas and everybody's broke. Because we start making the excuses for everyone then. We give them the out when really they don't deserve an out. Nobody deserves an out because we have a reason for them to host a show. We just have to express it to them in the right way. So that's where those words come in. Words really do matter. My team laughs at me because they call me Queen of Words because I have words for everything. Like, they're like, Becky, do you have words? Yes, here you go. But it's really because when we are new or when we're doing something new or doing something uncomfortable, we tend to what I call word vomit. And we just go like that. And then it scares people off and they don't respond sometimes. But also remember that people have life too. Everybody has life. So, I was at a 4-hour doctor appointment. So is your friend that you sent a message to at a 4-hour doctor appointment? She could be. She could be at work. Her dog could be sick. Who knows what's going on in her life? Just because 5 minutes is free for you to send 10 messages out doesn't mean that same 5 minutes is free for her to answer you back. Okay. So just give some grace to people, right? And just keep sending messages. Be a word ninja. Just send all those messages out. And eventually you've sent enough messages that people then respond to you and then you get those results. And once you start getting results and you keep sending messages, it just keeps going. You get more and more results. Okay. But I will tell you guys, don't be afraid if you've sent a message to someone. So say you guys have sent messages this week and you haven't heard back from someone. Remember, we had New Year's Eve and we had New Year's Day. And so people were probably busy at some part of those days and they may have missed your message. So it does not hurt, and you are not being pushy. You guys know that word, right? Pushy. You're not being pushy if you send a message and say, hey, just wanted to make sure that you've seen my message. That's not being pushy, right? It's you doing your job. If you think of this as a job and not a hobby, then you're going to get a different kind of result that you're not used to. So think of it as a business and you get business results. If you think of it as a hobby, then you get hobby results. Exactly what he said.
Well, it's actually a girl. I was trying to tell you earlier, but she's just wearing her brother's shirt. But this is what happens when mom goes to a call. Ivy Joy.
Oh, aren't you cute?
She is covered in ranch.
Oh my gosh. What better to be covered in? Oh,
it kind of stinks.
All right, my friends. Well, if nobody else has any questions, we're going to end for tonight. Just make sure to look for the homework I'm going to post. And then you also have the worksheet that I'll be posting to print out. Okay, and if anybody needs us, you guys know we're just a message away. But keep filling those calendars because you have great momentum already. So thank you guys so much for week 1. Woo!
Thank you.
You're so welcome.